Today I found out that I can play Doom with my guitar, and actually maybe every instrument I own. Thanks to some really cool coding work, we're able to put Doom into my audio software and basically run it through MIDI and audio. I want to put it to the test with every instrument that I can find. If you don't know me, my name is Ro Panuganti. I'm a musician. I arrange a lot of metal music for video game stuff, and I play on video games, and obviously the most metal thing I could think of doing is trying to play Doom with a guitar. To make this video a little bit more fun, I'm going to try to compare guitars with all the other instruments that I can find here that should be able to work with it, and I'll also show you how I got it set up. If you don't care about how the audio software works or any of that, you can skip along. I'll put chapter markers. But otherwise, let's breeze through this. Shoutouts to Michael Truscott first and foremost for putting together this Doom VST using Juice. This is a fantastic GitHub that I'll link in my description, as well as DoomGeneric, who originally I believe ported Doom or made it more compatible to be ported in the first place. Another shout out to my buddy Bao Vuong, who not only is my keyboardist, but also helped with the programming so that we could increase the resolution for this video. He's also the one that showed this to me in the first place and got me hooked on trying to put this together. Also shout out to my other buddy Colbydude, who's also my guitarist in my band, for helping compile it for a Windows build, which allows me to make this video as well. How does it work? From a practical point of view, the game is now pre-configured to work with MIDI, or kind of a musical digital language. It's something that we use to write programmed electronic drums and synthesizers, as well as sample libraries. And basically that means that as long as we can translate any audio, any kind of musical instrument into MIDI, we're able to play the game. Now the controls are going to be as follows. I'll just throw them here, but basically it's a C major scale, and each note lets you go forward, backwards, left, right, shoot, or open doors. I'm really excited to see which one's going to work out. Let's try it. So I think the obvious one that we need to try first is keyboard or piano, or basically a MIDI device. Since this is pretty much as close as it would get to just playing the game with a regular computer keyboard, I think this one should be easier, but to make it a little more fun, I'm gonna add some MIDI sounds so that we can actually hear some music while I play it. All right, load it up. Let's see how this goes. And the notes work. They control left, right, forward, backwards, and of course, shooting is just a high D. This is gonna be interesting. I grew up playing PC games. I didn't play Doom. This one's a little bit, I guess, before my time, but I think the controls are really comfortable for me, especially because you can just hold and just go forward. It's almost relaxing with the piano. I probably should have chosen a synth. It's also very anticlimactic, just hearing like when the door opens. So not bad. So keyboards are pretty easy. Clearly this game is keyboard friendly anyway, so I want to see how guitars do. To make this extra fun and also to make this more Doom oriented, I'm going to load up a patch so that we can play guitar with some really cool effects going. So I'm using Neural DSP's archetype Nolly, which has a really great transpose feature. Even though we're going to play directly into the C controls, I'm able to kind of pitch shift things so that we can hear something a little bit different at the same time, and that way we don't get bored of hearing C. It's working. You have so many options as far as like open. And you can hold notes, but I guess you could also... Alright, we're about to fight people. Let's see. Oh crap! Woo! I think I'm getting more and more used to it, but it's working really well. Like the MIDI, the audio to MIDI conversion is really good. Oh gosh! Oh, that's good. The guitar honestly is one of the easiest ones, just a little bit harder than the keyboard, but because you have so many choices of where to play notes, especially like just keeping in first position or whatever, you're able to get a lot of the shots down, which is really nice. Plus you can kind of chug along with Doom, which is really funny. Bass guitar, I think I'm anticipating a lot more difficulty with picking up the pitch, so I'm actually going to do a pitch shift on the MIDI. For the tone on this one, I'm also going to use Joe Calderon's quad bass. It's very lightweight on CPU, and that way you can hear something a little bit more exciting than a dry bass signal. Turn! Something about the C is just not working. Let's see if we can turn the other way. This is so weird. I guess we can only turn right? That feels problematic. With a little bit of adjusting to the reatune and the audio to MIDI setup, I think we're able to fix that. Woo! Cool. Nope. There's a little bit more drama in the music, I think, for the controls on bass. Whew! Okay, so we can turn, but you have to adjust the window size, which I think is how much information it reads before deciding what note it is. So I set it to be slower, and thus it would pick up the note, I think, for longer and be more confident that it's actually the C that we need to move, or to turn left in this case. Okay, I don't think it's impossible, but that's the hardest level I could pick. Can I play Doom on a recorder? This is making for a really challenging thing because the harmonics poke out and then you jump an octave suddenly. You scream at doors to get them to open. Uh-oh. Yeah! Take that. No! I'm gonna deem it that the recorder is hard, not impossible. Woo! It's just like the gunshot is literally... Uh-oh. No! Okay, the harmonica, also very hard. Not impossible for navigation, but the speed of your breath to control things and shoot and fight crazy monsters and stuff, it's too hard. The ukulele, it's like a guitar, but smaller and cuter, and also tuned a little differently. So let's see if this is going to be able to play Doom. That was lucky. Come on! We have 1% health. The moment you've all been waiting for. Can we play Doom on Sitar? It's working! Alright, let's do our best. So normally you wouldn't strum the way we're playing the game. But polyphony doesn't work with any of this stuff yet. Alright, let's get ready to shoot. Nope. You gotta play a jingle when you do this. Woo! Alright, we can beat it with sitar. So we've done all the instruments I know how to play, but there are some that I definitely don't know how to play. So we're gonna have Allison here play some brass instruments and see if they can play Doom. I was gonna say hot cross buns. I think for opening. Yeah. Low D. Yeah. Nice. Go! Yeah. It's like boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Trombone 80%.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
That one felt
that was
satisfying.
great. Yeah. I think I was getting
Yeah,
killed.
you were getting hit by someone. So with all of that, I think we've kind of learned a lot about MIDI and audio, and also just had a lot of fun trying to play Doom with a bunch of instruments and controllers and things. This is kind of a funny one-off video, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you never heard of me, again, my channel is full of music videos. I take video game, anime, movie songs, turn them progressive metal, and I write my own music. I also play on video games and make my own music. So you can check all that out here. Reach out, leave a comment if you have any ideas. If you thought there'd be another instrument that'd be funny, on social media I might post some of the little ones, just like if we try out more instruments, and let me know if I should do more wacky videos like this. See ya! So, you want to try this yourself, make sure that you have a legal copy of Doom. It's often on sale or even free, so just check that out, and that way you're making sure that you're doing this properly. Let's take a look at Reaper so you can get this set up. Once you've installed the Doom VST into your respective VST folder, it should load up. All you have to do is go to a track. I have a little preset set up here so that you're able to follow along. And then what we're gonna do is we're actually going to make sure that Doom is getting MIDI information properly. So I'll show you why I have it set up the way I do. I created a couple different tracks individually in Reaper. If you're not sure what that looks like or how to do that, let's just delete everything. So we'll start with a track to record something. We're gonna start with the MIDI keyboard because I think a lot of people have one, and it is going to be the hopefully easiest one to play the game with because it's just like a regular keyboard. It's got buttons. So we create a track and we make sure that we have it set to record with the record monitoring on. This means that you can see there's a preview of your MIDI information coming from the keyboard as I tap on it, and that's gonna make things a lot easier. We're gonna need to make sure that MIDI information is going into the game. Now, because we're using a MIDI keyboard, it's pretty obvious, but I want to make this a little bit more interesting, especially as a viewer. So what we can do is double click or right click and create a new track. And then what we can do is drag this I/O button, or you can just open up your routing and make sure that it's got a new send that's going to the track we just made. I'm gonna call the new one Doom and the first one MIDI. Now, all we need to do is make sure that we're having fun. So I'm going to add with the effects browser, just a plugin that makes some sort of sound. And that way we know our keyboard is working. Now our version again has a little bit of modification so that it's a little bit of a larger screen. But now we're able to use the controls that I mentioned, and we should be able to test if it works. So make sure that your MIDI keyboard is in the correct range so that you can hit C and it'll be a C3 or a C4 depending on what controls we need. So right now, that seems to be working. We can do that in Reaper pretty easily. What I'm gonna do is take our MIDI track, and you know what? I'll just leave it there. We're gonna create a new one, and we'll just call this microphone. And this microphone input is set to my actual SM7B microphone. That's gonna be pretty convenient for us. Then what we need to do is have it mic'd so that it can pick up my microphone signal, and then we need to convert the audio to MIDI. Go to your effects, type in reattune. Now normally this is actually just a really handy tuner plugin, but you may not have known that if you hit send MIDI events when pitch changes, you can actually convert this. I'm gonna link in the description something from reapertips.com that's really similar, and it can be used for a lot of musical applications, but it goes into more detail as to how to use Reatune. Now, as you can see, it's probably picking up all the different notes in my voice. So that's how you know that it's also working. Now, it's also sending MIDI information when the pitch changes. So if I were to open up effects and add anything MIDI, it's going to actually play it back. Now, once again, if you're not familiar with routing in your DAW, all you have to do is look for some sort of input output and make sure that you are sending to the track that has the Doom VST on it. I found that I had to restart it a few times just to make sure that it's all working, but it's also nice to start from the main menu and make sure you have your controls down before we start getting into the actual game.